YouTube, welcome back. Let's do a bit of housekeeping. I haven't been around, mostly because I had a wrist injury and I've been lazy. Combine the two, quite a bit of time off. Now, that's behind me, so we can actually get back into making content. And speaking of today's content, I bring you the explanation video of the new forbidden playstyle for me, Forbidden Resets. This I'm most proud of because it's one of my favorite. It should. I'm not gonna lie. It's my favorite playstyle at the moment. And what do we want to use this against? We're gonna be using this mostly against the squishier champions, and it's really just champions that you want to kill as quickly as possible. You don't really have time to stack all that much, or spend too much time taking their HP down with the bruiser builds, right? So that's the main reason I came up with this one. All right, so you know what you're gonna use it against. Let's figure out what the build, the whole entire playstyle is, starting with the rune page. Okay, here we have the Forbidden Resets rune page, the Sorcery Tree. Honestly, I do not need to go through everything because, as you can see, they all have one thing in common, which is giving some kind of, in any shape or form, movement speed. And that is really important because you need to be moving if you want to do as much damage as possible. Movement speed is king, honestly. At least in this not rune page, but the entire playstyle, movement speed is king. So, Sorcery Tree, get anything that gets movement speed. It's important. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is just to debunk someone's idea. Resets, you should be going Transcendence because it gives you seconds off of your abilities. True, what you said is factual. What you think is factual. However, we're not really trying to reset with our Qs and stuff like that. No, no, no. I'm trying to do as much damage as possible, and to be able to do some of this damage I need to start moving a bit faster so that I can cover more distance of people who are trying to run away, not get seconds counted down. So I take celerity and everything else that gets movement speed. Now that sorcery is explained, let's explain the secondary rune tree, which is the precision tree. I take Legend Tenacity because it's probably the most important thing in that tree, because you want to stay under CC for the least amount of time possible, as close to zero as possible. So, with that being said, for Legend Tenacity, now the second one. Now, some people might be thinking, okay, then I should be going Triumph, right? Now, you can go Triumph if you want. I personally don't take Triumph because I value Last Stand more. The reason I value Last Stand more is because I need to do the damage. I need to do as much damage as possible. So, Last Stand is obviously going to offer that damage. Triumph is going to offer the healing, offer the resets. Now, again, I know I said forbidden resets, so you get some HP back off of a takedown. You should be getting Triumph, right? Yeah, but I still value the damage that you're supposed to do more than the actual idea of a reset and stuff like that. The resets idea, that's more for a specific item that I'm going to talk about in the item build. But let's go down the stat lines first so that you know what you're taking. I should say you know why you're taking it. You take attack speed because you want, it's the most useful thing in the entire line over here. So it's better than the other two. You get a D over here because it's better than getting any of these. You're trying to do as much damage as possible. This will help. This will also help. And then last, you can't take damage here, so you're going to take an early game choice, which is armor or magic resist. Avoid scaling HP because I'm not trying to scale. I'm trying to do as much damage as possible. So, in a way, I could have even called this forbidden damage, but the playstyle, especially once you get a certain item, you're going to be doing quite a lot of resetting. Okay, so here we go. The item build. The starting items you get Doran's Blade and HP Potion. The reason for this is you're trying to get a starting item that is supposed to kill your lane opponent, which is, and you get the best stats for it by getting Doran's Blade, AD, HP, and a bit of Omnivamp, but who cares? Then you have a health potion to combine. Trust me, it's better than getting Corrupting Potion. If two two same stat champions are fighting each other, AD champions, and one has Corrupting Potion and the other one has Doran's Blade and a health potion, the one with the Doran's Blade and a health potion is gonna win. He has stats coming from the item, and he has a potion ticking just as much as the Corrupting Potion is ticking. So the stats coming from Doran's Blade is gonna win alongside having it amplified by the HP potion. As for your core items, which is something you're going to be building every single game, it's mostly. How do I explain this? So you start off by getting Tabis because Tabis is helps you reduce auto attack damage and it gives you the armor that you want. It's gonna be your armor item, honestly, and it gives movement speed because it's boots. Then you get Human's Ghostblade, a lot of damage, lethality, and it has movement speed, which is going to be really prevalent in this. Really important, actually. So, you get that movement. You get that Human's Ghostblade. You also want Dustblade. This is like guaranteed things you're building. So these three, you know you're gonna have it every single game. You get this because this is where the resets actually come in. After you get that first kill, that first dunk, you now go invisible and you start looking for the secondary targets, whilst they have no idea where you are. And that's why I named it the way it is. And last but not least, you have Null Magic Mantle. Null Magic Mantle is just it's just to show that you're trying to build magic resist. Now you're gonna probably be building a different magic resist item from game to game, but overall what you want is an armor item, two damage items, and a magic resist item. That's something you're gonna be building every single game. So those are your core items. Now what do I build? Personally, let's look at the situational items because there's a lot of them, right? Alright, so I rush Bork. That's what I do. Well, I get Tabis first, then I go for Bork. After I go for Bork, then I get the Yuma's Ghostblade and finish it off with the Duskblade. One thing I also want to get early as well, just like my boots, I do like to get a Ruby Crystal because that Ruby Crystal is going to build into an item later on known as Edge of Night. This is a really useful item for me. As for the magic resist item that I'm going to be building, it's actually going to be more of Malmortius most of the time. Most of the time. If they pick something like Malzahar or even Mordekaiser, maybe I might change more Malmortius to QSS item. I prefer Mercurial because it gives you movement speed after you activate it, and as you can tell, this build really is like honing on movement speed. So this is what I build. Now you can think of an item that you might want to have in this playstyle, which is probably Death's Dance, because resets after you get a takedown, you can get some HP back and cleanse whatever damage. That is really good. I recommend it too. It's just I'm not too sure where I can put it in. And if we remember our core items, which is Tabis, Yumi's Ghostblade, and Dustblade, and some kind of magic resist item, the only things you can possibly change in that is you might want to change Edge of Night. The reason for changing Edge of Night is because it's still expendable. You don't necessarily need it, but it's a really good lethality item. It's the only thing in your build that actually has some kind of HP. As lethality, 50 AD, and a spell shield. this really helps when you're trying to kill someone like Lux or Nami that is going to try to CC you before you actually get close. So, Edge of Night is still somewhat useful. Another potentially expendable item that you might want to change out could be your magic resist item. Like, yeah, you can put distance in it before instead of more, but you kind of still need that magic resist item because they're always gonna pick some kind of AP champion that is somewhat gonna threaten you, and that's why I get more. That's why I get maybe a QSS item, and it's really a saving grace, honestly. So I can't really like lose that just as much as I can't really lose Edge of Night. I'd rather do a lot more damage. Now, the last one that you might want to like heavily take out is Blade of the Ruined King. And then you have your build. Now the reason I don't take out Blade of the Ruined King is because after trying it, after like rushing it, it's a really good first buy. You can kill a lot of these champions and you can match the DPS. Plus, if you ever check the damage numbers like throughout the entire game that Bork has actually given you, you'd be surprised that it's doing thousands and thousands of damage. Like, why? Why is it doing it? It has an amazing passive, that's why. But the stats are really basically perfect, has some sustained lifesteal. I really think this is a good item, but if you want to remove it, put Distance, then you can rush Yumu's, probably Dustblade, then get Distance afterwards. You could do that, but what I'm doing at the moment is rushing these core items in basically this order. But my first items, if it's just even, I'd probably go for play with Steel Caps, Ruby Crystal, then I start building the damage items. And that is the build, that is the rune page, that is the entire playstyle explained in depth. And the last thing I want to talk about is a little preference thing. I don't really have a skin that I would necessarily designate it to, although you could argue that I would mostly prefer Purple Chroma Dunk Master, but you can actually use every skin you want. The only thing I want to say, the only thing I want to reiterate here is if there's a skin that you don't want to use this playstyle on, it should be God King, because I don't know, the ultimate is then you go invisible after the dog comes. I don't know. I personally don't like it, but this is just my take on it. Anyways, get ready for the gameplay that's coming after this video. And thank you for watching. Do the YouTube usuals, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, and watch more videos. Anyways, that's it from me. Follow all my links down in the description below. Have a nice day. Go watch my Twitch. I should be streaming a bit more consistently now too. And peace out.
Nothing but